This team just outright blows. I mean, there's just no way around it. They outright blow. It's just like, no matter what they say to you before the games, no matter what vomit, garbage, whatever you want to say, they spew at the media and at us before the games, it does not matter because they blew a 3-0 lead tonight. They just always find ways to lose, or for the most part do. And it looked like at a point that maybe they were going to win despite a lot of defensive deficiencies, especially early on in the game. And they thought for sure, I thought for sure that they were going to come out with the W, honestly. And I had this feeling going into the game, truthfully. And usually I don't feel this way with this group. I had this feeling early on today that they were going to win tonight. Just because of the fact that, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter if they get outplayed by Dallas by a long shot. They just beat them no matter what. And that's what we saw happen in the first period. And that's what I thought was going to happen because they took a 3-0 lead. There was a lot of slop there, but they took a 3-0 lead. They got the goals that they needed. And I thought, all right, well, they'll probably get the W today. And I don't know why I didn't put it past them that they would blow this game. And then it wasn't even long after they're giving up goals. And once it was 3-2 by the end of the first, I had a feeling they were losing this game. It's just was so obvious. And then you're watching Dallas for the rest of the game, knock on the doorstep for their next goal. They end up tying it. The Rangers ended up getting the lead back on the power play. You thought maybe. And then here's Keandre Miller giving the puck up, holding on to it way too long with the forechecker coming in, giving it away. And then Dallas ends up scoring there because nobody knows how to play defense on this team at all. The wingers do not know how to help on D. And then in overtime, you take the penalty early, and it's not a surprise what happened. You have Ryan Lindgren out there, and you have Adam Fox, who isn't keeping his damn stick on the ice to close a lane. And now Filip Chytil might miss time, which, great. If you can't tell, I'm being sarcastic there. But I worried about this with Filip Chytil going into the season. I mean, how many times did I come on these streams saying, I cannot pencil in Filip Chytil to play 60 games this year? And that might even be generous. And we'll see the severity of the injury. Upper body, the fact that we didn't even see contact on where the injury happened scares the crap out of me, because we thought when Aho bumped into him last year, we thought nothing of it, and we thought, all right, he'll be back in no time, and then it ended up being a concussion. I'm definitely worried. I mean, how could you not be with the kid? And the fact that it's an upper body injury, how can you not be worried? And now I don't know. I mean, there's just, again, no insurance for him. I guess Kaliev, though, welcome to the lineup. Now you found your spot in the lineup. Brodzinski's going to probably move down to the 3 seat because Kreider was put on IR today. And then I guess Kaliev would end up on that second line. And I love Filip Chytil, but this is why I was saying over the past week or so, if the opportunity came where the Rangers could move Filip Chytil and Lafreniere, Filip Chytil and Schneider to go out and get an Elias Pettersson, you have to consider it. And some of it went beyond, just the fact that, because again, I love Filip Chytil when he's healthy, but one, I like Pettersson more. Two, it went healthy. And health is a concern. And I thought, all right, you maximize your value there while he's not injured, which now it doesn't even matter. And it looks like he might miss some time. Who knows? But either way, it's just disappointing. Very disappointing. Alexi Lafreniere at least got on the board a few times tonight. That's something that we needed to see from him. Trocheck was getting on the board a few times, needed that from him. But that's similar to what we saw last year, where it was a one-line team. Last year, that was the line producing. Nobody else really gave anything. And it's similar to what we saw. I mean, Mika had a breakaway opportunity, and he did his signature move, which he doesn't even hit the net on anymore. The power play looked sloppy outside of it. Like, forget about the goal for a second. Until you had Mike Pekka draw up that play there for the power play, I mean, it looked horrendous. And I can tell you right now, I am easily throwing Arthur Kaliev on that first power play unit when he slots into the lineup. It's a no-brainer to me. Get his shot on that power play, and let's see what you could do here. Because I think this team desperately needs another big shooting threat on the power play. So I would easily be throwing him on that top unit. Ryan Lindgren was a disaster, and I've defended Peter Laviolette for so long, but I'm getting to a point where I can't even defend him right now anymore. And I'm at a point where I don't know what there is to say, because I don't know how this coaching staff watches Ryan Lindgren out there, Euro Vakanainen, and they elect to put those two out there on a nightly basis and put Zach Jones in the press box. It makes no sense. Legit makes no sense, and it's unjustifiable. And I'm getting to a point with Laviolette where I'm getting exhausted with it. Truthfully, I am. And Washington fans did warn us. Cannot blame them and say they didn't. But I'll be the first to admit I did the stop. No, I don't want to hear you type thing with them. But they were right about that for damn sure. And it's annoying. I mean, Kaliev wasn't even in the lineup tonight for whatever reason, which that blew my mind. It's like, how do you not put him in the lineup when Jimmy Vesey is invisible every night? And Carrick doesn't give you much either. I would have rather seen Brodzinski down that fourth line and then put Kaliev back in the lineup. This team just can't play in their own end. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. They can't play in their own end at all. And even if guys are making plays throughout the majority of the game, for every 5-10 great plays that they're making in the D zone, which that might be generous, but for every great play they're making in the D zone, they make a peewee hockey mistake. Whether it's Will Borgen not being handed a stick for 41 seconds of that shift out there when Robertson scored that goal, whether it's Adam Fox not closing the lane in overtime, whether it's Keandre Miller giving up the puck on the Harley goal, whether it's guys chasing behind the net, not tying guys up in front of the net. It's another thing that happens a lot with this team. They just cannot get out of their own way and stop making mistakes, ever. Jonathan Quick, man. If he wants that 400th win, good damn luck. It's just annoying and unfortunate because I just cannot understand why this team cannot play responsible in any regard in their own end. It's like the first period, they're up 3-0, and usually you would protect the lead, and instead it's high danger chance, catching the Rangers in transition because this team is just so easy to pants below the goal line and then come up the other way and produce. Forechecking against them is easy. And it's pretty much a layup that they can't break up, that they can't execute breakouts. I don't know why I lost my train of thought there for a second. They can't execute breakouts. So it's a no-brainer that you're going to be able to catch this team in a lot of areas, and they're not positioned well in their own end. The forwards have no clue what they're doing. Brett Berard had his head up his ass there with the Will Borgen goal. Adam Edstrom, too. I don't know how, again, how does nobody give Will Borgen a stick there? I don't get it. I just don't get it right now. But, a point's a point, right? Which, speaking of which, let's check the standings. Where are they at right now? Pittsburgh got another point, because they just get loser points right now. That was the first overtime game in a while for this team. They're at 38. So, let's see. And then Pittsburgh's at 42. So, still 4 points out. Sorry, Columbus actually overtook them in the playoff line. And Rangers have a game in hand on them, 4 points out. If we even want to look at that, because it's nights like this where it's just like, how are you even talking playoffs when they're blowing 3-0 leads? Like, do you want to watch this in the playoffs where they're blowing leads and can't play in their own end? I don't get it. And this too. There's no adjustment in the D zone at all. Some of that falls on Housley, but I don't get it. I don't at all. Good thing Matt Rempe's going to play next game, though, right? Playoffs, I'm just hoping we could win a game. I mean, if they're going to lose, then I'd rather them honestly just outright lose and tank, to be quite frank with you. But I get what you mean. Like, if... I get what you mean, though. I get it. Not everyone's like that. And the other thing, again, like I said, even when they're winning games, it's like you got to question how much of that offense is going to sustain as we progress forward throughout the remainder of the season, because they're scoring 4+ goals each night. But how much of that are you going to do on a nightly basis going forward? Because we saw them doing this early in the season, and then they couldn't score to save their damn lives. But they told us that they're turning the page and they feel something's brewing in that room. I don't know what it is that they're feeling is brewing in there, but let's see how they play against New Jersey on Thursday, which God only help us. But like I said, leave a like on the video if you haven't already, subscribe, all that stuff. And another thing that I did want to address here that isn't related to the game, but was mentioned on the pregame, which I didn't even catch until I saw it going around on Twitter, where John Giannone announced that he's been diagnosed with cancer since it was Hockey Fights Cancer Night, and then Brian Boyle sharing his story, which I'm praying for him and everyone, close to him, of course, family, stuff like that, which obviously he's probably not going to see this, but I just hope the best for him, of course, just because, it's really sad, man. It's really sad. Just grew up watching him on the broadcast all the time. Watch him do the MSG 150 all the time. So, along with Bill, and just doing the intermission report. So, yes, prayers for John Giannone, and hopefully he will be able to battle through cancer there. And yeah, I missed it too until I saw it on Twitter, because I was busy before the game and I didn't get to catch the pregame. So I didn't see it until after, but yeah, just prayers to John Giannone, and hopefully he's able to battle through that. But yeah, it was really sad, and it really hit me a different way when that was announced. But yeah, kind of hard to segue off of that, but we're going to try to. There's really no good way to segue out of that. But yeah, all we can do is just hope for the best, and, prayers for him. So just thought I'd bring that up. But yeah, let's, like I said, awkwardly transition, but we got no choice we have no choice but to do it. But let's see. Kuznetsov on Laviolette. Even now, I don't understand how he played in the defensive zone. And I've always stood by the fact, and I still stand by the fact, that this group is 3 coaches deep, to where they don't have excuses, but both things are true to me. I think Laviolette's been piss poor behind the bench, and I think that this group is pathetic. That's just how I feel. Right now, I would, I said on Twitter, I'm starting the dialogue. I would love if they wanted to go ahead and hire Carl to be the coach next. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? I know New Jersey apparently, or I shouldn't say I knew this. Someone on Twitter was telling me that New Jersey interviewed him, so maybe. Thank you for the $5. NYR nobody. Hope Miller gets married one day, then his wife cheats, divorces, and takes the kids and half of his half of all his shit. Oh my gosh. I truly mean this. He's worthless. Wow. All right. I got nothing to say to that. Thank you for the $5. That's all I could say to that. That's nuts. That's nuts. But anyway, let's see. Scotty Bowman. Yeah, Scotty Bowman is still alive. I don't know about. No, I don't know about the missing Kreider. Kreider was not adding anything for them offensively right now. He wasn't adding anything at all for this team, honestly. I don't know about that one. And Kreider wouldn't have addressed any of the defensive flaws. And I don't agree with this because Bruce Boudreau's a similar type guy where it's like strictly offense, and that guy doesn't win anything in the playoffs. If they wanted to bring Bruce Boudreau in, like if the Rangers were to go through like a retool, rebuild type thing, I would be like, all right, Bruce Boudreau, you could hire him. You know, it's not the worst thing, but I wouldn't hire Bruce Boudreau if you're like, I don't know. I'd rather just bring in some young blood still at that point. That's just me. I'd rather see Carl come in the coach. That'd be my vote right now. If they were to make a coaching change, which I don't know if it's going to happen, but that would be my vote. And I've said this for a while. The skating with Fox is just a problem. It really just is. And I just don't understand how there's been no improvement throughout his NHL career. Because if he even improves slightly, ever so slightly, with his skating, he would be one of the best defensemen in the NHL. Well, I mean, he already probably is. But you know what I mean? He'd arguably be the best defenseman in the NHL. And this too. I mean, on the power play, he's not doing anything right now. Peverly for GM. Carl for coach. We will be there. Yes. I didn't want Spencer Carberry. I did not at all. Which, I get what he's doing in Washington. Good for them right now. Let's see how that holds up in the playoffs, though. Because they haven't won a playoff game under him. And as much as Washington is a good team and they're performing at a high level right now, they have a lot of flaws in their own end, which we saw when they played against them. That's a team that could run into trouble come playoff time because they're not the sharpest in their own end. They're all right, but they're not the sharpest. But I still stand by what I said when they hired Laviolette, that I felt they needed somebody with a veteran presence that would command respect like Laviolette, or I would have been, which before we knew with Babcock, what all that bullshit, I actually advocated for him as an idea. I didn't mind it as an idea, but they dodged the bullet there. I won't sit here and run away from the fact that I still feel that way, but I'll put my hand up and say right now that I definitely look wrong with how I felt about Laviolette. I could put my hand up and say that part at least. But I still stand by the idea of it. If they were going to go with a young coach, the guy that they would have had to go with at that point was Chris Knobloch. If they were going to go with a first-time head coach, it would have made no sense to bring in somebody from the outside. And this too, yeah. You see guys like Boyum and Hudson in the World Juniors who have urgency skating and actually improve. What is bad about Carberry? Carberry's all right, but again, there's defensive deficiencies with that Washington team. And like I said before, this team, I didn't feel at the time needed to go the direction of a rookie head coach. And I always felt if they were going to go with a rookie head coach, let it be Knobloch. I would have wanted Knobloch over Carberry. That's just a preference thing for me. Strictly just a preference. And if anyone feels differently, you're entitled to that opinion. But I would have wanted Chris Knobloch if they were going to go with young blood behind the bench, with some younger blood, I should say. I sounded like I just said a rapper name there. Yeah, I mean, they look gassed because they're one of the slower teams in the NHL. That's what I was saying, though. They need to get guys. They need to seriously address team speed. Seriously need to address it. I watch all these other teams, and they have guys flying up and down the ice. This team doesn't. I don't know about this. I think the Caps are a solid team. Do I think they're going to have issues in the playoffs? Yeah, probably. I think that I don't know if I see them being the favorite in the East. I think they could win around, though, for sure, if they win the division. But if they play New Jersey or Carolina, I don't know if they win against either of those teams. But I think they could beat whoever sneaks into the wild card there if they maintain their division lead. Yeah, and good thing they're still charging this much money to be in the building. I actually went on TickPick earlier today and saw the tickets were like $78 to get into this game, and I was like, wow, finally not triple digits, which I still wouldn't go. I can tell you right now, I wouldn't go if this team was charging $30 to watch them play right now. It's just not worth the time and energy right now when it's not an enjoyable product right now. I don't know. I could it happen? Sure, but I don't know. I mean, maybe they could beat the Canes just because of their goaltending, and they might have the firepower to just score Carolina in a 7-game series. But I don't know. I mean, I think Carolina, I would pick Carolina over them if that ended up being a series. But I could see it going the other way. I definitely can. That's just my opinion. And yeah, this is it. They need team speed and toughness like the Florida Panthers are built. Like the Golden Knights had when they won Tampa Bay. I mean, all these teams. There's no secret, specific winning formula to building a cup team, but I can tell you those traits are for sure important, and this team lacks a lot of that. Just that simple. I'm a season ticket holder and getting fucked right now. Yeah, I know Anthony as well. I feel bad for both of you. Caps are your pick to win the cup. Interesting. Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you on that one. They could be a team, but right now, I don't know. If I was to pick a cup winner, who would I pick right now? Right now, I'd probably say Edmonton or LA comes out of the West. I like both of those teams a lot. I think either of those teams come out of the West. I think Toronto. I know. The playoff struggles, I get it. I get it. Get it entirely. Laugh it up. I think, though, I think that right now, if I was to pick two teams in each conference that I think have a legit shot, my East teams would be Toronto and Florida. My West teams would be Edmonton and LA. And it's unfair. It is so unfair that Edmonton and LA could be a first round matchup. I hope Edmonton or LA leapfrogged Vegas, because I want to see those two teams meet in the second round instead. Since we can't get it in the conference finals, most likely, unless one of them falls further down and then ends up being a wild card team. But still, I don't know about the Jets, man. I really don't know. I think that there's a little bit of issues. They're doing what they did last year. They started off like really, really hot, and then they cooled off like significantly. I don't know. Colorado, I think, has a better chance with their goaltending right now, but I still don't know if I'd pick them right now. I need to see a bit more from them. I'm just going strictly off like mid-season picks right now. Yeah, LA's got something going right now. And I agree with this. I was saying this the other day. If Wool didn't get hurt, then I think they would have won that series against Boston last year. And who knows how far they go. Yes, trading Trouba was the right move because they got out of his garbage contract. So yes, it was. And Trouba's not doing anything in Anaheim. He's playing like garbage there. So don't sleep on the Lightning. I get it, but I'm sorry I'm sleeping on the Lightning right now. To me, I think every team that's above them in the standings right now, and I know it's like no shit point-wise, but I think all those teams above them are better and would beat them in a playoff series right now. I personally think that. I think that Toronto would beat them. Florida, maybe they could beat Boston. Boston's a team I could see them maybe beating. Washington, New Jersey, and Carolina, I think, would all beat Tampa Bay right now. I think, though, they could beat Boston if they matched up against them. I don't know about Vegas. A lot of the underlying numbers, like, really don't like Vegas. I don't know about them. I really don't. Like, they'll make a deadline ad, though, that might make me feel differently. I really have to see what they do at the deadline, which you could say that about a lot of teams, but either way, like with them in particular, they need to add a little bit more help before I could really get sold on them. I could see them bringing back Riley Smith. I could see them wanting Riley Smith at the deadline if the Rangers end up selling off. I think they would give up a second for him to run it back there. I don't know. I have this weird feeling with Vegas right now where I just don't know about them. I really don't. And, like, you got to wonder with Hill, his health, that's something that comes in the question, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. I just have a weird feeling about Vegas right now. Cassie's a good coach, though. I'll give you that for sure, yeah. Right now, if I was to make first-round predictions, I'll go with that just because, again, this game, I don't even want to discuss it right now. If I was to make first-round predictions, so Toronto, as of today, would play... Washington would actually play Columbus. Washington would play Columbus. I'd pick Washington in 4 there. I'd pick Washington in 4, I'm sorry. Which, it would be cool to see Columbus rally around Johnny Gaudreau and win. I don't know if I see it, though. I think Washington would win that in 4. New Jersey and Carolina is an interesting series. That one's tough. I gotta go Carolina, though, in 7. I could really see that going the other way. Like, Markstrom's the better goalie, but I don't know. I can't count out Carolina to win a first round until they do it. That's just me. Toronto and Tampa, I think Toronto wins that in 5. Florida and Boston, I think Florida wins that in 5. And then in the West, Vegas is the top seed. They would play Vancouver. Vegas would win that one in 6, probably. Winnipeg, well, actually, I should go in the Pacific. Edmonton, LA is tough. That one's so tough. I'm going to go with my gut, though, and say LA right now, because it's only halfway through the season. Who the hell cares? I'd say LA right now, but that's definitely a 7-game series. And what's unfortunate, if that series happens, it's going to be hard for either of those teams to win because that series is going to go 7 games. Not a doubt in my mind. Winnipeg and Colorado, I'd pick Colorado right now in 6. And then Minnesota and Dallas. That one's tough too. I'd pick Dallas in 7. That's tough though. That's really tough. The West has a lot of good matchups compared to the East. Listen, as the resident guy who picked Washington before the season to potentially be better than the Rangers, and a lot of people gave me shit for it, but I'm looking good with that prediction right now. Or it wasn't even my final prediction, but I said there was a chance it could happen. But as someone that said that, there are flaws with them, and I get that they look good in the standings, but sometimes the standings are deceiving. Just you have to remember that. I could see Minnesota winning, though. Like, I really could. I really could. Since you have accepted that the Rangers are a bottom-feeding lottery team, you seem to be more at peace with their performances. Yeah, if that's what they are, then that's the expectation I'm going to hold them to. That it's just that. I'm going to hold them to that standard at this point. That's just all it is, honestly. I'm at a point where it's just like, why am I getting worked up over it? You know? Edmonton over LA just because Edmonton has the better goal scoring. That's always my concern with LA. I don't know if they have enough firepower, top end firepower. They definitely need to make a move. I agree with that too. But I don't know. I would just give the slight edge to them just because they're playing so... They are probably the best defensive team in the sport right now. They are so good in their own end. I would say they're the best defensive team in the league right now. And I get Edmonton has a better offense right now, but I don't know. I think that... I wonder who LA could add at the deadline. I actually want to know, like, who might be available for them to grab. There are so many people that are probably annoyed by this conversation because it's not about the game, but quite frankly, again, just not worth my time right now. Let's see. Who could LA get? I mean, if Vancouver truly sells it and they're willing to trade in division, I think Brock Besser would be a good pickup for LA. I think Brock Besser would be really helpful for them. But I don't know if Vancouver is going to fully sell or not. Let's see. Oh, Brock Nelson would be so good for LA. Brock Nelson would be great for LA. That would be a great pickup for them. I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Brock Nelson's really what that team needs. Yeah, Brock Nelson's what that team needs. Was my Super Bowl pick? I'm biased. I'm going with the Eagles and Chiefs. Can we interest LA in a Swedish DJ who has a month named after him? Yeah, I wish. Brock Nelson, though, man. That would be a good pickup for them. That'd be a really good pickup for them. Trying to see who else really is like available. Come the deadline potentially. I think Yanni Gourde would be a good fit there, but I think Yanni Gourde's... Honestly, I think Yanni Gourde, there's a good chance he ends up back in Tampa at the deadline. I think there's a very good chance that happens. Like, I could just see them going for it there. I could see them bringing in Gourde and Tanev, Tampa Bay. And that would increase their chances a lot if they had to play Toronto. That would increase their chances a lot. I think that would make a lot of sense for them. Maybe I'll do a little trade deadline prediction video. And do I hide it behind a paywall? Do I go ahead and put it on the members only thing? I don't know. I mean, I made a hockey channel that I could upload on, but I don't know if I I'm going to do that just because then I'm kind of obligating myself to make it consistent. And I don't know if I want to do that, but yeah. Maybe I'll do that, though. Maybe for a stream I could do that or something. Move Byfield to left wing 1 and play Kopitar and Kempe, then Brock in the 2C between Moore and Fogle. That would solve a lot of their issues. Either that or you could put Brock Nelson on the wing, honestly, and he would thrive. Hagen's over Misa right now. There's so many interesting... I don't know. This is going to be a weird trade deadline market because there's not like a... There's really not anyone that's to the caliber of Gensel from last year or anything like that. There's kind of like a more... Like just a solid group of guys that could be moved at the deadline this year. Just a solid group. But there's really no one that's like standing out to me outside. I mean, Brock Nelson, like I said, is probably the best name out there. But even then, like, I wouldn't consider him, especially because he's having a down year right now. I wouldn't consider him like to that level. And again, it's strictly because of the down year right now. Can Borgen get a first back? There's a chance. There's a chance because if you look at the defenseman market, especially on the right side where teams get desperate for right shot defensemen, there's really no one available. It's Will Borgen, Cody Ceci, David Savard, Jan Ruda, and Jeff Petrie. It's really about it. Connor Murphy, if Chicago wants to trade him with, an extra year on that deal. They can maybe get a second back or a first. I don't know. But I'm not entirely sure there. Marcus Pettersson's left shot. That's why I say that. When do we see Othman get a chance? I have no clue. I mean, if Chytil's out for a long time, maybe there's an opportunity there, but they'll probably just bring Lecision up. We asked and we'll receive. We asked for Jake Lecision. Not really. I want to make that clear that we did not ask for him. Brought him up the other day, and of course, so this is what happens. Crap. All right, I'm going to wrap it up here, though, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live. And I'll see you guys in the next one.